I'm going to be trying to catch up on all of my different series. So if you're new here, I set a goal at the beginning of 2025 to read 50 books by the end of this year. I'm actually right on target for reaching 50 books, but I do not want to fall off at the end of the year because it's so tempting. Like, you're inside and you're cozy and you're warm, and it's like, well, what if I just watch a movie instead? Because I'm crazy, I started 5 different series at once. I actually started a book with my friend of like 15 years. Her name's Kira. Me and Kira started Ruthless Creatures. It's actually like a dark mafia romance, but it was just really funny and I just flew through the book. And I'm on to the second book now, which stars her like best friend. And I think maybe that's why I'm into that book so much. So I think that's the book that I'm leaning most towards right now. It's called Carnal Urges. So our main character's name is Salone. And at the end of book 2, or at book 1 and the beginning of book 2, she's like kidnapped. And I'm getting to see like this very independent character, like out of her element, and it's really fun, and it's still super witty, and it's still so much of that character, so I think that's why I'm enjoying it so much. I also started Guild not too long ago by Raven Kennedy. I just finished Glint, which is the second book, and then I'm on Gleam now, so I'm on the third book of the series, and I just needed something to like break it up because it's like 700 pages, that one book is, and I can't do so much fantasy. Like, I need to throw a little something else in there. My friend and I are also doing another type of buddy read, so we both have each other on Goodreads and we cross-referenced, and we both had this book on our to be read, and it's called Tempt Me. It's supposed to be like a wolf hotel, and I started The Wolf King. I've heard good things about it. I read the first chapter and I wasn't like enthralled in it, but I think it's because I've been reading so much fantasy lately. I also have another book on my radar, which is Fall I Want. So there's a couple of options, and I have all day tomorrow to read, so I want to see how much I can accomplish between now and then. So it's actually a few days later, and I went ahead and I just finished today. I finished Carnal Urges, which was the one that I had started and I wasn't too sure about. So me and my friend actually started this one as a buddy read, and I finished it and she did not. I'm still waiting on her to finish that book. So Kira, if you're watching this,
finish the book. Okay, finish it.
Then the second book opens up and it's just like bam, 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 and the plot just keeps on going. And when you thought, oh, okay, well, nothing more crazy could happen, it does. Somehow she's so likable that she charms her way into the Irish mob, literally doing all of her bidding. Literally charms both of his main men. So his right hand and left hand man, she just charms them right away, to the point where he was trying to make them cut off their pinky finger because they had disobeyed him and followed her orders instead. And she literally kneels down and she's like, no, cut my pinky off instead. She's insane. There's no predicting her next move, okay? She's just crazy. And I think that's why I like her. So if there's a crazy female main character, I will be there, as we've seen in the past, because I'm currently also reading Gleam by Raven Kennedy, which is part of the Gilded Prisoner series, and let me just tell you, that book is like 800 and something pages, and I didn't even know it was that long until I went with my friend. We went out and we went shopping. We seen all kinds of crazy and fun stuff while we were out at the mall, and we also stopped in Books A Million, and I was telling her about the series I was reading. And so we go into the little aisle, we pull up there, and the next thing you know, I reach in and there's this huge thick book, and I'm like, which book is this in the series? And would you know it, it is the book that I am currently reading in the series, because of course it is. So as of right now, I think I'm only like 8% of the way through that book, And I think I'm more than 50 pages in, and there's like 800 and something pages. I need to be reading smaller books for the end of this year because today put me right on track with my reading goal when I finished Carnal Urges. So I need to be reading tiny, small books that are digestible and reasonable sized and not an 800-page masterpiece by the end of this year because I still have to finish 6 books. So I'm in the final leg of things and I need to just get ahead, which is what this book video is for me to hopefully get ahead. So I'm actually setting my sights on Tempt Me, and that's by K.A. Tucker. It's my first book I've ever read by her, and I'm not like super impressed by it. I don't know if maybe she was like younger or much about the author, I'm gonna be honest, but the writing style is just not what I'm used to, so it's taking me a while to get like adjusted to it, okay? But there's a whole lot of this going on where in the passage it's just, and he looked at me and he was so fierce and beautiful and I loved his bright beautiful eyes, and then it's like, and he said, "You're gorgeous," and then it's more of, oh, and then the way he looked at me and blah 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 blah, and then he said, "Let's go inside." And it's like, why? I don't know, it just doesn't feel necessary to have like 3 sentences wrapped around an entire paragraph of just how they looked at each other. It doesn't make me feel their chemistry more. I feel so disconnected from the characters. I think that's why I'm just like flying through the book. I like the female main character because she's fun and she wasn't what I was expecting when I got into the series, but the male main character is just like so boring. He's just so macho.
Oh, I'm just a big macho man and I own a whole bunch of hotels, and it's like, okay,
Cool, good for you. I don't care that much about you. Could we go back to her POV, please and thank you? And I think that's why I'm enjoying it, because she's like young and innocent and she hasn't experienced much in life, and so then getting to see things through her perspective is nice. But seeing things through his perspective, it's like, I don't really like you that much, I don't really care, so then I get a little more and more disinterested in the story. So I'm just trying to finish it. It's not that long of a book, so I think I could finish it pretty quickly, and that's what I'm gonna go for. And I'm just gonna tell my friend that I'm making the final run for it, and she can sprint after me, because I gotta get through as many books as possible to finish this by the end of the year, and I'm pretty sure she's in the same boat, so we're probably going to be making a sprint for it. And of course I haven't forgotten about The Wolf King, I just haven't been reading it as much. I was really intrigued by the first chapter. I think that's why I put it on the back burner, because I just knew I wasn't going to have enough capacity in my brain to withhold that much information all at once, starting all those different books. But I think, you know, following the train, Tempt Me is definitely where I'm going to go, and then maybe after that dive into The Wolf King a little bit more and see like which one pulls me in that direction. If you can't tell, very much a mood reader, but I will fill you in and give you an update when I have one. Let's talk about some books. So I wanted to wrap this thing up. Let me get started. So our series from the beginning, we have Carnal Urges, Gleam, Tempt Me, The Wolf King, and Fall I Want. So those are our 5 series that we started. So let's go through this list, shall we? I finally finished Tempt Me like a few days ago, and it was my second 1-star read of this entire year. Like, it actually was just so bad. Like, I feel like you can tell in my last clip how much I was not feeling that book. The female main character just became so much more unlikable, and I didn't like the characters at all. I just had so much disconnect from the two of them that I just couldn't follow the story. And what's so funny is that I actually started that read with my friend, and I still think she hasn't finished that book, and I think it's because it put us in such a reading slump, because after you read such a bad book, it's so hard to come back from that. Then I got into my audiobook phase, which is probably what propelled me so far. And you can't really take clips of you reading an audiobook because that's just weird. It's just like you sitting there with your AirPods in, just like, and like like nobody wants to watch that. It starts out with our audiobook phase. We like completely ditched all books because I needed something short, sweet, and simple, because how are you going to dump me with a 1-star book that I was looking forward to? So I started with something simple, and I actually read something by a new author, Ali Hazelwood. I read Two Can Play, and I rated that a 3-star. And if you're like me and you've never heard of this title before, it was actually an audiobook only book that she released. So in 2026, I think it's being released as like an ebook with an extra chapter in it. I had never heard of this prior, so it's kind of like an enemy to lovers situation, but they're also co-workers, and it was like super cute, super sweet, to the point. It had like one big arc. Like when you think of a romance book, it like follows the traditional curve, and at the end there's like this big blown out scene, and it's like my favorite part of a romance book. But that's kind of what this felt like, was just that ending part, because it was short, sweet, to the point, and there was only like one little arc in it, and it was really good, super refreshing, and honestly it got me out of that 1-star slump. Then I read Gleam some more because, hello, that book is huge, and I don't know how else I'm gonna get through it unless I just pick off a couple pages at a time, read an arc, and then just like chill out for a little bit, because and that's probably like the biggest book I think I've ever read. And then because I was still in my audiobook phase, I went back to one of my favorite authors, Stephanie Garber. So her series Caraval, and then her Once Upon a Broken Heart series, I started this year. Her writing style is so unique, and it's so magical, and everything just ties together really nicely, and I just had to go back to her style of writing, because honestly the best remedy to get you out of a reading slump is to go back to something that is familiar, and her writing is so familiar to me, and I just missed it so much. And I haven't read Once Upon a Broken Heart, the first book in the series, in a couple of months, so it's been since like June or July since I finished that book. So going back into the series, I started with The Ballad of Never After, which is the second book in the series, and honestly I think this one was my favorite. I think so. The first book introduces to all of the characters, and this book really built on that ground that she laid, and I feel like you got more and more connected to the characters. It was just like being back in that world and being back in that story again, but in like a different context and in a different font. I did not like the female main character. I will say that the only character I did like was Jax. He was so funny, like his little moments where he's like eating apples. He also made me mad a couple of times because why are you ignoring my girl? Once everything gets revealed in the third book, which I also finished, it all ties together so nicely, and you understand him so much better as a character. And he's one of those like snide, snarky, like he's always planning something type of characters, and I feel like I don't end up liking those characters at first, but then they kind of grow on me. And I would say that I rated The Ballad of Never After, I think I rated it a 4-star just because the characters were kind of fuzzy to me. I actually had to go and like look up a summary to summarize the characters for me because I literally forgot some of them. It's been so long, okay? You can't even blame me. It's been literally like 6 months. It's been forever, okay? The characters came back to me, and I kind of knew what was going on in this story. It made the last book so much more special. I didn't give it a 5-star because I was so disconnected from the main character, and it's in her POV, and I feel like that's what got me. That's all I'm saying, is that honestly, if we had a different female main character, kind of like the female main character in Caraval, not Scarlet but her sister Donatella, I think it would make me like it so much better. I did not like her. I did not like her in the slightest, okay? She was just so unlikable. Every time someone like betrayed her, she was like, oh, it's okay, you betrayed me, but like we can still be friends, girl. We can still be friends, don't worry. Like, hello, please snap out of your fairy tale dreams, sister, okay? You can like whoever you want to like, but you don't have to forgive everybody every single time something bad happens to you, okay? Just like, you can hate people, it's okay. I just want you to tell somebody off, please and thank you. I of course had to work on one of my other series because I did not forget about this video, trust me. So I went straight into The Wolf King because they had that in an audiobook version. It was also a duet. So we had a Scottish wolf and a princess. And her accent and then his accent, it was like, oh my gosh, like this had me giggling. It had me giggling, it had me kicking my feet. It was everything I wanted in a book. In the first book, we're introduced to Callum and to Rory, but we're also introduced to a third character, and his name is Blake. And Blake is also an alpha wolf. So is Callum. For some reason, there's like these moments of tension with this character named Blake, and it's really strange. I'm like, why is Blake in the story if the story is about Callum and Rory? It doesn't make any sense. Why are we going back and forth between these guys? And then at the end of the Wolf King, there's this huge event that happens. Instead of Callum being the one to save her, it ends up being Blake. And then when we jump straight into the next book in the series, Night Prince, we learn everything about Blake. Okay, I am so sorry that I even questioned your existence, because what? If you would have told me these details in book 1, it would have made so much more sense as to why that character was in there. I never went into a story hating a character, despising them, not knowing, not understanding why they're there, and then left that book absolutely loving that character. So if you've not read the synopsis or the description for The Night Prince and you want to read The Wolf King, just skip ahead a couple of seconds. So basically, in The Wolf King, Rory is saved by Blake being able to transmit his life force into Rory. So by doing that, he's sharing her memories and sharing his memories with her. So you're seeing some of Blake's memories, and you're also seeing some of Rory's memories every time she sleeps in the book, which makes the book super confusing. But it kind of helps you out, because in the audiobook version, there's not only 1, 2, but 3 different narrators, each from Callum's perspective, Rory's perspective, and then from Blake's. So each character has their own voice, and it helps to break up so much of what's going on. However, the book is still super confusing because there's multiple different dynamics going on within the book. So there's Callum facing his brother, Blake facing numerous other threats, Rory facing all the threats at once, and they're all trying to get to her for no reason. It all just like doesn't make sense, but it all makes sense at the same time, because it's like we're in Blake's mind where everything is jumbled up and confusing, but it all gets revealed at the end. Think of like the most snide character, think like Prince Carden, and think about Jack from the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. These snide, snarky, little, they think they know it all characters. That is exactly what Blake is, where Callum is your nice, dependable guy. So it just really didn't make sense to me while Blake was included in this story until we got to book 2. And I think that's when I finally started liking him and rooting for him a little bit more. And I also, spoiler alert, missed the fact that Blake happened to be Rory's fated mate. Like, I missed that whole trope. I guess I just missed the signs in book 1, and now it makes sense. Like, I mean, I still kind of got the sense in book 1, but it makes more sense now that it's revealed in book 2, and I just can't wait for the completed trilogy to come out. This duology at the moment actually had me enthralled and very entranced in the story, to where every single minute of every single day I was thinking about the characters, because I really just wanted to know all of the different mysteries and how they all tied into one another. So, as you can imagine, with all of those books finished, I actually reached my goal of reading 50 books by the end of 2025. And that is one of my biggest accomplishments for this year, and I am so excited to share this with you all. So let this inspire you, and let it be a reminder that when you think you can't accomplish something, you always can.